Hi guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com, and I'm doing another quick weekly news recap of all major MMO news and announcements for the week ending August 29th, 2016. This is episode number 58 of the recap, and the first bit of news this week comes from CrossOut Games regarding Black Desert Online. Last week we mentioned that CrossOut Games would be staggering the release dates for the class awakenings, and we learned this week that all of the awakenings will be released by the end of this year. So the fact that they're staggering the release dates is definitely lame, as it's going to imbalance PvP and cause other issues, but at least we know now that all of the awakenings will launch by the end of the year. So it's not as bad as it could have been. Black Desert Online has been a bit of a controversial game since its original launch in the West, as it was buy-to-play in the West and free-to-play in the East. And I personally remain committed to my prediction that it will go free-to-play in the West sometime in the next 6 months. That's just my guess though. And we'll see if it's going to happen. I think it'll happen, but that's just my 2 cents. Next up, sci-fi MMORPG Otherland is set to go free to play on August 30th, which is tomorrow. It originally launched as a buy-to-play title and was riddled with bugs. When I did my first look video for the game, I literally had to restart the video 4 times as I ran into numerous bugs in the tutorial area that required me to remake my whole character and start over. The game was also at the center of a controversy that we at MMOs.com uncovered. We accused the developer of buying hundreds of fake reviews on Steam, which caused an internet shitstorm for them. So clearly they launched with some issues, and it looks like the game is still not doing very well, as it's averaging a whopping 0.6 players online at any given time over the last 30 days. The developer is clearly hoping that a free-to-play transition will breathe life into the game, but I suspect it's going to fail. It's really not a great game. It did have a unique environment and some cool settings, but not enough to stand on its own. And this is actually one of the reasons I don't like buy-to-play games that aren't from big-name studios, because most of the time they just end up going free-to-play within a short while, and you just feel kind of meh paying for it after it already went free-to-play. But yeah, if you want to play Otherland for free, it should be free-to-play tomorrow. Moving right along, and some buy-to-play related news, Dark and Light from Snail Games will launch in North America and Europe with a buy-to-play model. This is surprising since it's being developed by a Chinese studio which is known for free-to-play games. Snail Games is that company. The company hasn't fully clarified the exact business model, but based on what they've said on Facebook and Discord, it's clear that the game will cost money and may even have a subscription, but more likely than not, it'll just be a one-time purchase. I suspect that the Chinese version will not cost money though. Interesting to see some games giving up on the buy-to-play model and going free-to-play, and others launching with the buy-to-play model. I suspect most MMO-style games that launch as buy-to-play will eventually cave and go free-to-play, or at least offer some kind of free option. The latest being Otherland, which we just discussed, and a couple of weeks ago we mentioned Atlas Reactor, which also offers a free-to-play component now too. Moving right along, we have yet another older game launching on Steam. This time it's Thanatos, the Dragon Chasers. It's the only other game published by Enixsoft, which also makes Cal Online. Well, this game is much newer than Cal. After an extended period of downtime, the game finally relaunched. The servers were down for a long time, and all of a sudden they're back up, and the game is on Steam. I don't expect this to save the game because it was never that popular. And in fact, it's only getting about 50 to 100 players online at a given time, whereas their older game, Cal Online, is hitting about 500 to 700 players online at any given time, which is doing much better. So Thanatos, I don't think Steam will save it, but we'll see. Moving right along, as for a game that just launched on Steam that is not super old, we have CrossOut, which launched to Steam Early Access this last week. It's a game being published by Gadget Entertainment, the same company behind numerous games such as War Thunder and Star Conflict, as well as a few other games. For those unaware, it's a post-apocalyptic vehicular combat game. Vehicular, that's a tough word to say for some reason. But the game will cost $29.99 on Steam in Early Access, but will be free to play when it enters Open Beta sometime in Q4 of this year. So if you don't want to wait, you can pay for it now, or just wait a few months and then you should play it for free. Next up, Fractured Space is set to emerge from Early Access on September 15th, 2016 into a fully fledged official beta on September 15th. It's a beautiful space MOBA that's been in early access for over 2 years now, and even changed its business model from buy-to-play to free-to-play in May of 2016. I'm calling it, guys. I've been saying it for a while. I still believe free-to-play is definitely the future and even the present right now. A lot of games have already shifted from free-to-play to buy-to-play, and that trend will likely continue in my opinion. If you never played the game yet, might as well wait till the 15th to get the full official beta. Plus, it's also kind of similar to Dreadnought as well, another space MOBA style game. For those curious, number-wise, the game is hitting about 100 to 300 players online at any given time, which is definitely not bad for an early access title. We'll see if it does better once it officially launches. Moving right along, after several months of testing, the free-to-play Russia-exclusive Halo game called Halo Online has officially been cancelled. And even though the game never officially launched in the West, we can still play the game on a private server that's available. If you look at the Halo Online subreddit, you can find it. And I do think it's kind of cool that the developer and publisher have not gone after these private servers, because the official server is dead. Just let the private server exist. Leave them alone. And they have been doing so far, which is definitely good. So yeah, Halo Online private server is a thing if you're interested. Move right along. In Masses, Alliance of Valiant Arms entered open beta this last week. And yes, that's the same en masse behind Tera. Despite first launching in 2007, the game has had a bit of a checkered history, going through EG to area games and now to en masse. Players can't transfer their characters over, so no progress will be lost. Here's to hoping the en masse version is updated more often, and it's cool to see an older game like this still around. But yeah, it's back and it launched this last week. And on the topic of en masse, we have a bit of news regarding Tera. Tera's autumn producer letter talks about server mergers. It looks like 3 of the game's servers, Highwatch, Lake of Tears, and Valley of Titans, will be merged into a single server on September 7th. There was already server merges on the European version, and now some of them have come to the North American version of the game. The newly merged servers will be called PvP 65 and feature open world PvP. Players that don't want to do open world PvP can freely transfer to another world between September 9th and September 13th. Also, with the server mergers, there'll be an update to the game, which introduces guild battles, as well as some small tweaks to guilds themselves. It's fair to say that Tera has enjoyed tremendous success as a free-to-play game. However, the game's player base has slowly been declining, which is why those server mergers were necessary to begin with. Up next, in some more upbeat news, Revelation Online closed beta is set to begin in October. Founders Packs are available right now. Closed beta access is available to anyone that buys a Founders Pack, and also randomly selected players who sign up on the official website to the game. And graphically speaking, the game looks quite gorgeous. One of the more interesting aspects of Revelation Online for me was the seamless world, and we'll see how that all works out when I get a chance to play the beta myself. And again, that's sometime in October. Up next, we have another game embracing the Steam platform. This time it's collectible turn-based tactics game Duelyst, and it officially launched on Steam this last week, and it has over 1,000 players online as of this video. And in fact, it's averaging about 1,400 to 2,000 players online at any given time. It's a really fun strategic collectible card game with over 400 cards at the moment. If you haven't played Duelyst yet, it's worth checking out because it's free to play. Also keep in mind the Denizens of Shimzar update will go live on August 31st, and it'll add 90 new cards to the game. But yeah, it's on Steam, which is awesome. I really like every game to be on Steam eventually. It makes it super convenient for me. And in somewhat related news, we have strategy card game Faeria, which officially went free to play this last week as well. Faeria is a Hearthstone/Duelyst style collectible card game. However, I say it offers a bit more depth than Hearthstone, and it's similar to strategy in a game like Duelyst. I've been playing this quite a bit this last week, and I'm enjoying it a lot. It's free to play, and actually you can unlock all the cards for a one-time purchase of $50. Which is an interesting business model for one of these card games. The game originally launched with a buy-to-play model and was actually funded on Kickstarter, so I know I make fun of Kickstarter a lot, but at least one great game came out of Kickstarter, and it's Faeria, and it's a lot of fun. Moving right along, we have an update for COG Games' Elsword, which launched Elysian Phase 2. The update is already live, and it increased the game's level cap to 99, which is always a pretty big update, and it also introduced 2 new dungeons and made changes to the enhancement system in the game. In my mind, the big updates that increase the game's level caps are usually the most interesting updates, because honestly, higher level cap gives you more stuff to do right away. And it's always nice. The next and last bit of news this week is that World of Warcraft announces its raid release dates. So not everything will be available the second that Legion launches on August 30th. Some of the more in-game raids will be unlocked weeks after Legion actually launches on the 30th. So after the 30th, the next big update is going to be on September 20th, where the Emerald Nightmare raid dungeon opens on normal and heroic. And then on September 27th, Mythic difficulties unlocked. And on October 11th and October 25th, Raid Finder Wing 2 and Wing 3 will be opened up. So they are slowly rolling out some of the end-game dungeons and end-game raids in Legion. But yeah, that's it for MMO News this week, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the podcast. Later, guys.